Welcome to the Stepmom Side with Alicia Crasco, the podcast for stepmoms ready to create the life they want and one they actually have a say in. Here we talk all things stepmom life and just a little bit more. Leave the superficial conversations at the door and get ready for perspective shifts and actionable advice to help you on your way to creating the life you want, one step at a time. Hi, welcome back to the Stepmom Side podcast. I'm Alicia, your host, and this week, as you saw by the title, we are diving into traditions in your blended family. And I don't need to tell you that it's really easy for you to feel like you're left out or you feel like you don't belong. Maybe it's overwhelming. Maybe it's, I don't know, really freaking complicated because you want to feel like you belong, but you also don't belong, but you're trying to find your way, but you don't know how to find your way. So let's face it, holidays as a stepmom come with their own special kind of chaos, but here's the good news. You have the power to create traditions that work for your unique family. Whether you're juggling traditions from two households or starting fresh, you've got the creativity and the grit to make the season magical for everyone, including yourself. Like, don't forget about yourself. So, in this episode, it's going to empower you to confidently break away from stale or maybe stressful traditions, build meaningful new ones, and create a holiday season that feels joyous, connected, and uniquely yours. So let's just like get into this about breaking tradition, but without breaking hearts. And there's that pressure of it's always been done this way. And I don't know if you're like me, but when you hear your partner or somebody else say, well, this is just what we've always done, or, it's always been like this. And, but in my head, I'd be like, well, yeah, that's what you guys did, but that's not what we did. So we are going to do something different. Like, do you ever feel like that? It's like the internal monologue that you've got going on, like when everyone says these things. But I just want to like acknowledge like how hard it can be or how hard it can feel to let go of those long standing traditions, especially ones that are tied to like the kids' mom or your partner's past. Again, like this is what we've always done. So here's the deal. Even if you are stepping away from those traditions, that doesn't make you the villain. That doesn't make you the bad guy. Like I said, that's what you guys have done. In my head, this is what I would say to my husband, like, that's what you guys have done. That's not what we've done. Like, we can incorporate like our own new things. And then I'm sure a few times like that actually did seep out. Like I actually did say that. Maybe once or twice I might have raged or screamed that at him, like when it wasn't like my shiniest moment. So let's talk about strategies for breaking those traditions carefully. So you want to communicate with your partner and your stepkids. Frame new traditions as additions and not rejections. So let's say that you guys all decorate the Christmas tree together in your pajamas, or maybe that's what they did. Like they project, like picked a date, like decorated the Christmas tree in their pajamas and like made a big night of it. But you're like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be living in their past. I don't want to be, like the new person that was slotted into like the mom spot. Like it's okay for you to suggest something different, like, hey, can we do it at this time, or can we like offer up suggestions, or like, hey, you know what, growing up this is what we did in my family, or whatever the case may be. Like you can add in, like, again, frame those new traditions as additions and not necessarily like we're not doing that anymore because that's what your mom and dad did previously. But also focus on flexibility. Allow some traditions to continue while gently introducing new ideas. So let's go back to that example, like they decorate a Christmas tree in their pajamas. This is not my situation, but like they decorate their Christmas tree like in their pajamas, but you're like, you know what, instead of doing that, like let's get dressed up and do it. Or, let's, however it is, like maybe they did it at night before, let's do it in the morning or whatever. There's ways for you to like gently introduce things. So I will tell you a little story about when I came in and the Christmas tree that we have. So at the beginning, we only had one Christmas tree, and it was upstairs in our living room. And the tradition was that or that they would always go and get a Christmas tree and a fresh one, a live one, and then they would come back and decorate it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. Like, who am I, like, on year number one to be like, nope, we are not doing that this year. Like, we're going to do something completely different. I'm like, I have no idea like what we're doing, but okay, here we are. So we go and get this Christmas tree. And so they always go to the same place. They would pick out, everyone would get a new ornament like for that year for the tree. So we spent, all the time like getting the tree, then all of the time like going and getting the ornament, and then we get back to the house and we get out all of these Christmas decorations and all of these Christmas ornaments. Now, mind you, none of them are mine. None of them are my style. None of them have any meaning to me. And all I can think of in my head is, oh my God, I feel like I am living in a shrine to their previous relationship, and I'm just expected to be this person that I wasn't, like, not expect to be that person, but like I'm just in this role that like I don't want to be in. And so I felt really awkward. I felt really weird. I felt really uncomfortable. I felt really like, like, what are we doing? And there were these ornaments that were different. Let's just say they were different. And so I said to my husband, like, oh, where did you get these? And he's like, oh, that's from when we lived in this country outside of the US. And I was like, oh, as I'm holding one of them, and I almost dropped it. Like literally, I just wanted to like throw it across the room. And I was like, oh, okay. Ha ha ha. Like as I'm, trying to like be not weird. And I'm just being more weird as I'm trying to not be weird. But what am I going to do? Like make a massive scene and like break down crying right there? Like my eyes welled up and my husband immediately knew like something was wrong. And later he was like, what's wrong? Because now I'm like cold. I like shut down and like out of the thing. I love Christmas. It's my favorite holiday season. Like literally, like it's not even like holiday, it's like a season. Like I love it. It's so much fun for me. And now all of a sudden I hate it. And I'm like, what is happening? And so later he's like, what's your deal? Like what's going on? And I'm like, that was really uncomfortable for me. I hated every minute of it, which is weird for me because I love Christmas, blah, 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 all of the things. And then I broke down in tears and I was like, I I hate everything. Like I hate that I'm in this house. I hate that I'm in this relationship, just like word vomiting everything. I hate that this tree like situation is this, that, and the other, and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, this was not the right time to do this, but I couldn't control myself because I was just like, blah. I do not want these ornaments on a tree ever again. You can save them for the kids if you want. You can do whatever it is that you want, but I don't want any of these ornaments ever again. Like I don't want to see them ever again. Um, and he was like, uh, okay. Like, what is he going to do? Like, what is he going to say? Right? Because there's not really much that he can do or say because we've already just decorated this tree. Um, so the following year we did not put those ornaments up, but then there were also like a bunch of other different Christmas decorations that were like around the house from the said country. And um I was like, I don't ever want any of those up. And the crazy thing is I am sitting recording this podcast episode and I can see one of those decorations. So that tells you like how full circle things have come in 13 years. Now I don't care. Like now it doesn't bother me. Those ornaments still are not on the tree. It's never been broached. I think we still have them. I'm pretty sure we still have them. I don't think I secretly threw those things away. I mean, I know you're probably laughing, but like, how many things have you secretly thrown away as well? Um, yeah, I'm pretty sure I didn't secretly throw them away. Uh, but yeah, it's just wild how things have changed so much in this amount of time. But also, um, yeah, I hated all of it. And so I was like, here's like later when I could like formulate words and get a coherent thought out, I said, here's what I would like. I would like, because at this time we were not going to have kids, like it was not, we were just not going to have add an hours baby. Um, I was like, that's something that you guys have done. That's your tradition. That's your life. Here's what I would like to do. I would like to add another tree, like a downstairs in our basement Christmas tree that's just ours and only we decorate it. And I'm pretty sure that he was like, are you out of your mind? No. So here we are all of these years later, and we still have a tree that we decorate just the two of us. So my stepkids are out of the house. My daughter was like, oh, can we decorate the tree downstairs together? And I was like, no, that is mommy and daddy's tree. We decorate that one. And she was like, well, excuse me, that's not fair. How come you guys get to decorate that? And I'm like, it's something that mommy and daddy get to do for just us. And she was like, Oh, okay. But the year that we got this downstairs tree, it's a fake tree. It's a fake tree. So I had like all of these thoughts about it too, like, oh, it's in the basement, so like no one's gonna see it, and it's fake, and blah blah blah, all of the things. I grew up with no money. I didn't have any holiday traditions. I didn't have. I don't even think that we put up a tree. Maybe like a couple times. Yeah, we did actually put up a tree because I remember like the silvery like icicles, that like tinsel like gets everywhere. Um, but like Christmas was magical, I guess, but not like Christmas was never like a big deal. Like I said, we didn't have any money, like literally like dirt poor, like had no money. And so now that I'm older and like everything is like come full circle in that part too, like I really enjoy Christmas. I enjoy like the magic of it, like the glitteriness of it, like the all of it. Um, but I remember the year that I was pregnant with our daughter and I had a full on like breakdown. Like, this is so embarrassing to tell you. Full on like mental breakdown. I was like sobbing uncontrollably. And my husband's like, "What is wrong with you?" I'm like, "We're never gonna have Christmas together again, just us." And he was like, "Yes, we will. Like, it's still gonna be us. Like, what are you talking about?" And I'm like, I've always had to share you. Like, like now we're gonna have this baby that's gonna be here all the. And he was like, he didn't say it like this, but he was like, get a hold of yourself. Like, what is wrong with you? Anyway, long story short, we still maintain our own tradition of like only we decorate the hours tree. We get a new ornament for every year. The first year we had to go and get like filler ornaments because we didn't have anything on the tree at all. Like it was so bare. But yeah, we got filler ornaments. So that is my here's how you can make a few new traditions. Like that's what we did in our thing. But let's talk about like the new traditions and like why they matter. Traditions aren't just for fun, they're about creating that connection and a sense of belonging. And it's a fresh start that allows your stepfamily to define its unique identity. Again, creating that connection and that sense of belonging, that's what I wanted. I wanted to feel like I belonged. I wanted to feel like I was connected to this family. We did like years after that first year, like when we decorate, like it was still like weird sometimes, but it wasn't like as traumatic as like the first time. But also like this came up in marriage counseling for us because like I said, like I really like Christmas, and so I really struggled with like, oh, we're just doing all of the things that we've always or that they've always done, and I'm just like here doing whatever. And our marriage counselor said to us, just because you've always, well, specifically more so for my husband, just because you've always done something doesn't mean that you always have to keep doing it. Like for Christmas, you could go see a show, like a play, or like go see a movie, or you could go on vacation, or you could whatever it was. So we started to travel, like we started to take the kids somewhere over like Christmas or New Year's or whatever, or sometime during that like school holiday break. And so that became our thing for Christmas time because that's what we did. And, they didn't do that before. And now, like, this was ours and this was new. So it was like a fresh start for everyone, like, in our blended family, which was really, really freaking great. But if you want new ideas for like traditions that you guys can do like a quirky and fun, like, holiday sock exchange, an annual gingerbread house competition, which is like, I wish that we would do that. Like, that would be super, super fun. Um, I don't know why I say I wish we could do that, or I wish we would do that. We could still do that. You could create like a family themed holiday playlist, and maybe like this year somebody's in charge of like one of your stepkids is in charge of it. The next year you're in charge of it. Another stepkid, your partner, like whatever, like whoever you have over for holidays, like somebody's in charge of creating like the family themed holiday playlist. And another one, like this might sound really corny, but like writing notes of gratitude to each other, maybe going and volunteering as a family or making like an ornament of the year to reflect like on a favorite memory. We've done that too. I said we travel with the kids, we would always get an ornament from like wherever we've been. So the family tree has like a bunch of different ornaments from like all of the different places that we've been. Um, One stepmom life coach shared how they started like a pancake and pajamas Christmas brunch, and that brought her family closer. Like the kids loved wearing goofy pajamas, and it's now their favorite tradition. Like they make like different kinds of pancakes, like blueberries or coconut ones or strawberries or chocolate chip or plain or whatever, and they just like go crazy, like sprinkles and whipped cream and like all of the things. And you can wear mixed matched pajamas. You can whatever it is that you want. But involve your stepkids in this idea too. Like let them have input, like ask them what traditions they'd like to keep, ones they'd like to tweak, different ones they'd like to start. And also like give them the freedom or even empower them to make some of their own, like their own ideas. And I think that's really fun because when you allow the kids to like have a say in whatever it is, they kind of take ownership of it. So if they own that new idea, then they're going to be so excited for it. And it doesn't matter if they're like super young or if they're teens or if they're like adult stepkids, like they're going to be like, "Oh my gosh, remember when we do this or we do that." It's really, really, really fun. So encourage creativity. Like that's a really good way. Like if you've got teens that are like, "Oh, I hate this. Like it's so much family time, blah, blah, blah." Or, if you've got like the tweens or if is that I don't mean to like single out teens, but typically people get a bad rap like when they're teens. Like my stepkids as teenagers were pretty great like when it came to Christmas time. But if you've got stepkids that are like not excited about it, one way that you can really get them also involved is encourage the creativity. Like you want to celebrate Christmas Eve in pajamas eating nachos? Like let's do it. You want to have ice cream. I'm just kidding. You want to have ice cream for breakfast? No, let's not do that. But like just keep it light and keep it joyful. Like avoid the perfection trap. Because here's the deal. The Pinterest worthy holidays are way overrated and completely unrealistic. How many times have you burnt cookies and it doesn't go like as well as you want? And now you have to decorate them. And it's like, we can't freaking decorate these cookies. They're a mess. But speaking of messes, I just want to emphasize that messy, funny, imperfect moments often become the most cherished memories. So, this is like another super funny thing. And I have not done this in years. And I was telling my daughter about it, and I'm like so excited about it. So, this is like how nerdy I am because I love Christmas. So, years and years and years ago, when Bed Bath and Beyond was like a big store, I mean, it's kind of making a comeback now. I'm starting to get emails from them, but they had these prank boxes. Oh my gosh, like I'm so excited just telling you about this. So, so my husband is a coffee drinker, and I just happened to see this prank box at the store. So it's just a gift box that you put like an actual gift inside of, and then you like fold it up, and then you wrap that. So this one was called the Bathe and Brew. So it was an advertise or it was a gift, so to speak. Or the box was like advertising that it was like a coffee pot, like coffee maker. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to like put a post, I mean like put a story on this about this on Instagram. But it was, oh my gosh, this is so hilarious. It was about a coffee pot that you like hooked up to your shower, and it was so you'd bathe and brew, and it would like brew coffee, so you could like have coffee in there. Oh my gosh. You should have seen my husband's face when he opened it because I specifically like had marked that present so I knew what it was, and everyone is here. So we typically do like me, my husband, now our daughter, she wasn't around at the time, my stepkids, my in-laws, and my brother-in-law. And so my husband opens it and he looks at the box like, what the hell is this? And he kind of just like casts it aside, like, this is such a weird gift. And I am like dying. Like, I think it's hilarious. And I'm like, you're not even gonna open it? And so then he was like, what? And so he sees that I've been like watching him. I'm like, you're not, isn't that awesome? Like, aren't you so excited about it? And he's like, it's a little weird. I was like, okay. So then, so I'm like, well, at least open it. Like, let's see it. So he opens it and it's just like bags of coffee that are on the inside. And he was like, oh my gosh. But there's the bright yellow flaps that like you fold in before you like tuck the lid down, say prank, like when you open them. Um, so that I would like put gifts in it every year for like someone different. And then so then everyone like got onto it, right? Like after a while, they'd be like, oh, okay, I wonder what's actually going to be in here. So then I found another gift box. This one is hilarious. So my daughter saw it when we were going through like boxes to use for gifts, and she was like, "What? You got?" It was I don't even remember what it's called, but it was like a contraption that you like put on your cat that's got like paint brushes attached to it, and so like the cat can like use its tail to like paint. And so my daughter was like, "You like kitty paint? That is so cool." And I was like, "Actually, that's a fake gift." And she was like, "What?" And so it said, read like the bright yellow part. It says prank. Do you know what a prank is? It's a joke, whatever. And she was like, oh, you can put baked gifts in here? I was like, yeah, I used to do it all the time. And she was like, I didn't know that. Let's do it again. So it was super exciting. So now she's like in on it and she's like, what are we gonna put for our big gifts? I'm like, I don't know. But so I'm excited for that to like come back. I haven't done that probably in like 6 or 7 years. So I'm really excited. Anyway, so that's like a little long tangent about like just new funny like moments that you can like interject in or just something different that you can do. Now, mind you, I gave that box, like the bathe and brew, to my husband first because I knew that it was going to be like, what? Because if I would have got it, I would have thought the same thing. Like, what? Like, I'm not going to make my coffee like in the shower. This is so weird. And I wouldn't feel as rejected by him acting like that, even though I knew that it was a joke. I was really sensitive in my early years as a stepmom. I probably don't know that, but I was like, took everything like super personally and like really, really struggled. Anyway, so if you're going to do like some like prank box like that, I'm sure you can find them on Amazon now. I don't even think Amazon was around at that point. I don't even know. Um, give the prank box to somebody that you're not going to take rejection so hard from, or if you're like good with your stepkids, like do that, but keep the connection at the center part of it. Like focus on simple traditions that prioritize togetherness over extravagance. Like I said earlier, like our marriage counselor had suggested like going to see a show, so maybe like movie marathons, like playing board games, or like low key baking days. And this sounds crazy, but my stepson will bake with me. I have baked Christmas cookies with him. I don't even know how many times. And like we get into like decorating and he's done it even like with my daughter too, or like our daughter. Um, but like it's a big thing. Like I'll make like a bunch of cookies and I'll make like all these different like royal icings and I get all these sprinkles and all of the things. Like I love it. But then also my own mom, who has passed, like she would come and we would make different Christmas stuff. So like Nutter Butters that we'd like turn them into Santa. So you like dip the Nutter Butter like in white chocolate and then put like a red hot like at the top and like super cute things. We'd make like peanut brittle. We would do like York patty, like thin mint cracker things. I can't remember exactly what they're called. I can like see them all in my head. I do this Christmas wreath that's got I can either do like cranberry orange like Christmas wreath. It's like a dough rolled out thing or like a chocolate chip one, depending on like how many sweet things we're gonna have that year. But there's so many things that we can do together. But my stepdaughter likes to bake, but my stepson, if you're like, my stepson's not gonna bake with me, or my stepkid's not gonna bake with me, I think that you would be surprised. Board games can be really fun. A really fun board game we have is Say What, where you put like the big plastic thing in your mouth and you have to like figure out what the other person is saying. Movie marathons can kind of be hit or miss because depending on what everyone's going to watch. But if you're like, okay, we're watching this genre of movies, then you might be fine. But again, like it's just important for you guys to have fun together, like a lot of laughter and a lot of low pressure activities. I talk a lot about like shoulder to shoulder activities. These are definitely shoulder to shoulder activities. And you want it to be low pressure. You want it to be something that we can do and like have fun. And it's not necessarily like face to face, like you're sitting down and like having a conversation with them. But I also want to give you permission to ditch what doesn't work. So I want you to give yourself permission to let go of traditions that no longer serve you. It just isn't okay. It's liberating, it's freedom, it's like releasing some stress. But by shedding the ones that bring more stress than joy, you're actually creating emotional space for meaningful moments that actually matter. Because if you are stressed out about this tradition that you don't like, it kind of puts a rain cloud over your day and like just follows you around. And you're like, all I see is the bad, all I see is the bad, all I see is the bad. But if you're like, okay, we're not doing that one anymore, you have the emotional bandwidth to like look for the little parts of joy that are going to like come up. So imagine the relief of just being able to step away from the expectations and reclaim your holidays. It's not about giving up, it's about gaining confidence and defining what works for you and your family now. So if no one enjoys the annual cookie swap or the endless holiday party circuit, like feel empowered to say goodbye and focus on what brings true connection and happiness to you guys. Shoulder to shoulder activities, like so good. And also like Something funny is if no one enjoys caroling, it's okay to retire that and replace it with karaoke. Or if no one enjoys like the holiday craft, like do some baking. If no one enjoys baking, like do a movie or whatever it is, like just you can swap them out and you can just be honest with the kids and say, hey, do you guys enjoy this tradition? If not, what do you think about replacing it with this, that, or the other? So, as a recap, you have permission to break away from outdated traditions. You don't need to hold on to those. Again, if it's not serving you, like let's just bless and release, right? I almost said like block, bless and block. No, that's not what we're doing here. I mean, I guess you could like block that tradition. But remember that building new traditions creates lasting memories and bonds. And if you do it by like keeping it fun and keeping it light and making it yours, those bonds and those memories are going to last. Like, oh, you have no idea how excited I am about this bathe and brew box that I'm gonna like pull out of like the woodwork. Oh my gosh, I'm so freaking excited. So remember, and if you're multitasking, come back to me. Just remember that the best traditions are the ones filled with love and laughter. And if you're like, I don't even love my stepkids right now, that's okay. Maybe the best traditions are the ones filled with like and laughter. Whether your holidays include gingerbread houses or pizza and pajamas, you're building something amazing for your family. And guess what? Every time you choose joy and connection over stress and obligation, you're also building your confidence as the backbone of your stepfamily. Let me repeat that for you. Every time you choose joy and connection over stress and obligation, you're also building your confidence as the backbone of your stepfamily. You've got this. I'm super excited for you to have new traditions, or if you've already started new traditions, share them on social media and make sure that you tag me. I'm at Alicia Crasco. I would love to see what new holiday traditions you've got, or you can send me a message too. I also, if you are struggling still with the holiday season, do have 10 tips to get through the holidays. If you go to aliciacrasco.com/holiday, I will also link it in the show notes so that way you can get it. But I don't want you to struggle this holiday season. And if you're like, nope, I'm still struggling, please come see us inside the Stepmom Side community. That's where you get more tips, more support, more community of people that are like, what is happening? There have been a lot of topics in there recently that have been really, really good. I love the community. I love seeing everyone engaging with each other and just like the different things that are coming up. And people are like, oh my gosh. One stepmom recently said, because I was like, how are you guys feeling about the holidays? And she said, so much better now that I've got like the support from here. I'm like, oh, that makes my freaking heart sing. Like so sweet. But thank you so much for tuning in this week. I will chat with you next week. Thanks for taking time to listen to this week's episode. If anything was helpful or resonated with you, please share it on social media and tag me. I'm just at Alicia Crasco. And if you could leave a 5-star rating and review while you're at it, that would also be really helpful. And if you find yourself struggling with your stepmom journey and you want a little bit more support without the hefty price tag of coaching, you might want to check out the Stepmom Side community, which is my own private community for stepmoms, where you get to connect with other stepmoms around the world and myself, where I hold weekly office hours and monthly group coaching. It's kind of like you have your own personal coach in your own back pocket. Again, without that hefty price tag. See you next week.